MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
A new program designed to help veterans find their footing. I'll tell you more about it and hear from them coming up.
I'm Joe St. George on Capitol Hill. For months, we've talked about inflation and how the price of goods and services is impacting all of our wallets. But what is the chances a recession happens next? We look at the likelihood and what you should be doing now. Next.
That's kind of depressing, actually. Maybe we can lighten it up a little bit with the weather, yeah.
The weather is phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
Inflation bad, weather good.
There you go. Yeah, inflated temperatures. I guess that's the only thing that we were dealing with there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Receding waters and the recession of the waters. Hi, Judy Slate. Welcome back to the desk.
Thank you.
Nice to have you with us.
It's just been, I don't know, a few years. Feels like no time went by, right?
That's it.
It feels like I genied. I went boom.
There you go.
And here we are with one of my favorite people, Chet Lehman.
Well, the feeling is completely mutual. So glad to have you here on the desk, and I'm glad we could give you some good weather for your return to the desk on this Monday morning. It's beautiful outside right now, and it's going to stay that way really for the next couple of days. You can see on satellite and radar, there's nothing to see. It's clear skies in the overnight hours, and we'll keep those skies pretty clear throughout your day today. Temperatures about where they should be, a little cooler right now in Wise River at 39, 34 in West Yellowstone. 40s is where we are, and we're going to warm it up today into the 80s. There is a slight chance of a thunder shower this week. I was about to sneeze. Details of that coming up in just a couple minutes. I'm going to go outside and sneeze. You do the news.
And bless you.
Thank you.
According to Pew Research, 77% of post-combat 9/11 veterans were deployed at least once. As MTN's Edgar Cedillo shows us, a new program that's designed to help veterans with physical and mental health being in Montana's great outdoors.
For those in the military, a path is usually always set, and once they leave, they don't really know where that path is. Warriors in Quiet Waters is helping veterans find the path and their purpose.
Run! Faster, faster, let's go!
It's not just archery. It's not even about hunting for the most part. It's about growth and finding our purpose, once you leave service.
In the last 2 years, Sean Gifford was struggling to find his purpose in a time where the world had been isolated.
My older daughter wanted to start getting into hunting. I, just didn't have the motivation and the drive to take her out.
That's when Gifford decided to sign up for Hunt with a Purpose, a program with Warriors in Quiet Waters.
6-month program designed to enable post 9/11 combat veterans find greater clarity on their identity, their values, their potential, and their purpose.
They prepare for an elk hunt in the fall.
What's called a stress shoot, shooting under duress.
Let's go. You got that. Nice. Get that shot off, hurry up.
Stimulating the adrenaline that comes with the hunt.
Your heart's going to be beating out of your chest, your hands are going to be shaking, you're going to be nervous.
Where volunteers raise their adrenaline by having them do burpees, box jumps, all while they load their arrow and aim for the target.
Oh man, after being in the Army for 30 years, I love stress shoots. It's a lot of fun, right? Because the military, we have this inter-service rivalry, we pick on each other because that's how we show love.
What are you waiting on? Let's go! Let's go! Come on!
Where the roles reverse.
Usually I'm on the other end doing the screaming.
As they slow their breath, steady is key to make sure that they hit their target.
That was difficult. That was probably one of the harder things I've done in a while, trying to catch your breath and making sure you don't miss the target.
Even as they hit their target, it's not the elk that's the prize that they take home.
So the goal for the hunt may not even be to bring down an elk, right? It could be just that we're out there finding that peace, finding that tranquility.
Up next is their elk hunt in the fall. In Bozeman, Edgar Cedillo, MTN News.
Good stuff. The Department of Veterans Affairs is studying psychedelics as a possible treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder. The VA recently began offering psychedelic drugs to patients with PTSD as part of clinical trials. There are at least 5 underway in the U.S. Well, what exactly is going on with the economy? Prices are high, we know that, but is it going to get worse or better in the near future? How might the economy impact your family? Our Joe St. George takes a closer look at the possibility of recession, what that is, and what you should be doing right now in case that happens.
Following the economy these days can be difficult. President Biden is saying one thing.
There's nothing inevitable about a recession.
Conservatives another.
Democrat-fueled inflation crisis.
But after months of talking about the I word, inflation, now the country is talking about the R word, recession, and whether one will happen or not. Let's start with what is a recession. First off, there's no specific definition, but according to the National Bureau of Economic Research, it generally means a significant decline in economic activity that lasts more than a few months. It typically includes rising unemployment, a poor performing stock market, lower household incomes, less consumer spending, a decline in home values, as well as a decrease in the country's gross domestic product, which is a measure of the amount of goods being produced each year. Since 1948, the country's averaged a recession every 6 years. The beginning of the pandemic was technically a brief recession. The 2007-2008 housing crisis was the last major one. It lasted a year and a half. Why should you care about a recession? Because one typically raises the possibility of layoffs. It can limit pay raises, and many times a loss in home value and a decline in 401k balances take place too. So is one happening? In short, the best nonpartisan answer comes from the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell is the chair of the powerful group. He told Congress last week his decision to raise interest rates to combat high inflation could cause a recession, but at this moment, he just doesn't know for sure.
It's certainly a possibility. It's not our intended outcome at all.
Aides at the White House know the fear of the R word, recession, on top of the I word, inflation, could make it very difficult politically to keep control of Congress in this year's midterm election.
We're not in a recession right now.
Officials repeatedly tell reporters that a recession is not happening. They point to low unemployment and a rise in middle-class checking and savings accounts as reasons this country may avoid one. All of this may have you wondering, how should you prepare for a possible recession just in case? Well, lock in a new job or ask for that raise now. Increase your savings and make less risky bets on the stock market. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
Well, not only is inflation hammering pocketbooks, but the stock market is also hammering savings and investment accounts. The current market downturn is the largest since the start of the pandemic. And as Dan Grossman shows us, it's affecting how and when people are choosing to retire.
Call it 3 things to know, 3 things to watch.
If you've been paying attention to prices anywhere, really, what Lynn Dunstan is about to say will not come as a surprise.
Inflation's getting higher, of course. Probability of rate increases significantly hiking.
And if you've been paying attention to stocks and investments,
yeah, so I'm looking at the market returns up here. This is all year to date.
Neither will this.
Everything else, including bonds, everything's in the red and the yellow. It's just an awful year so far.
To some, the word awful might be an understatement when considering the current economy. Gas prices are hitting consistent record highs. Food prices are up around 10% from where they were this time last year. I felt it, you felt it, and people planning for life after work are feeling it too.
I've got 2 clients right now that are saying, I'm not so sure that I want to retire in this environment.
Peter Tedstrom is a regional director for Merit Financial Advisors, and has seen what surveys suggest is happening, that 1/4 of Americans are delaying their retirement due to inflation as the higher prices have dug into savings.
We got a war in Ukraine, which is exacerbating oil prices. We have inflation that is higher than we've seen in the last 40 years, and we might be heading into a recession. So those are 3 things that are causing investors to say, what am I going to do? Well, at least I can work and not touch the portfolio for a period of time.
The survey from the BMO Real Financial Progress Index found 36% of respondents have reduced their savings, and 21% are putting away less money for retirement in order to keep up with the growing costs. Younger Americans have also been some of the most adversely affected. More than 60% of those ages 18 to 34 said they'd to pull back their savings contributions to make up for the rising costs of necessities.
So a really good retirement plan is flexible and adaptable.
Lynn is a wealth management partner and says a good tip anyone should consider, even those not working with a financial advisor, is to keep some cash aside so it's not exposed to market volatility. The report showed this is happening more as more people are making yearly budgets and planning for the future. If you're looking for some market tips specifically, he and Peter suggest investing in commodities like oil, metals, and energy which are typically less risky in down markets and periods of inflation.
There's really only two asset classes that are in the positive. One is MLPs, Master Limited Partnerships. Those are oil and gas pipelines. So energy pipelines, those are up 27.8% for the year.
This is a tough period for lots of people, even those who are looking to get out of the job market by now. But with some additional planning and consideration, it can be a little less scary and risky. I'm Dan Grossman.